Okay, so let's unpack this. Welcome to a deep dive into Yann Martel's, well, extraordinary novel, Life of Pi.
Yeah.
This isn't merely an adventure story, is it? It's really a profound exploration of human endurance, the boundless nature of faith, and the very essence of truth itself.
Indeed. Today, we're going to navigate the incredibly rich and frankly complex journey of Pi Patel.
Right.
From his unique and kind of unconventional childhood in Pondicherry, India, to his harrowing shipwreck and the unimaginable ordeal that follows. We'll meticulously peel back the layers of his narrative.
Layer by layer.
Yeah, examining how he found not just physical survival, but also profound hope and resilience in the most desperate circumstances you can possibly imagine.
It's hard to even fathom.
Right. And more critically, we'll uncover what his experiences ultimately teach us about the power of storytelling, and the very narratives we choose to believe, not just about the world, but about ourselves.
That's the key point.
And by the end of this deep dive, you'll not only have some surprising facts, but also, I think, a completely fresh perspective on what it truly means to be well-informed, especially when you're grappling with the nature of reality itself.
Our mission today is precisely that, to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight from this really compelling material, custom-tailored for you, the listener. We'll meticulously discuss the core narrative structure, really delving into the genius of Martel's dual story technique. That's huge.
Absolutely crucial.
We'll explore the intertwining themes of survival and belief, charting Pi's remarkable character evolution from, an innocent boy to this incredibly resourceful survivor.
Quite a transformation.
And of course, we'll highlight the powerful literary elements that make this tale so unforgettable. We'll be weaving in symbolism, metaphors, and the philosophical dimensions that resonate far beyond the final page.
Yeah, they really stick with you.
Get ready to connect some dots, because this is where the real aha moments, I think, start to emerge. Okay, so our journey into Life of Pi, it begins not with Pi himself, interestingly, but with the voice of this restless writer.
Yeah, the author's surrogate, maybe?
Could be. He's in India, and he's just abandoned a novel about Portugal, a project that had, in his words, sputtered, coughed, and died.
Happens to the best of us.
So he's looking for inspiration, for that spark that brings to life a real story. He talks about his first trip to India, armed with just one word, bamboozle.
Yes.
Which he humorously admits served me well,
Yeah.
navigating the chaos.
I can imagine.
On this second trip, he's in Pondicherry, a tiny, formerly French-controlled Union territory, still searching for that elusive narrative, sitting on a veranda thinking about how even turning Portugal into fiction can sometimes lead to a greater truth.
And this framing device is absolutely crucial. It really sets the philosophical tone for the entire novel, right from page one. Well, it immediately signals to us, the readers or the listeners here, that this isn't just going to be a straightforward recounting of events. It's a meditation on truth, on perception, on the act of storytelling itself.
Okay.
The writer's own struggle, to find greater truth through fiction by selective transforming of reality. It prepares us for this profound idea that truth itself might be malleable.
Or at least open to interpretation.
Exactly. Deeply open. This concept that reality can be deliberately twisted to bring out its essence, it becomes the very bedrock upon which Pi's own extraordinary story is built.
So the telling shapes the truth.
Precisely. It highlights how even the teller of a tale can shape reality to reveal a deeper, maybe more profound form of truth. And his eventual encounter with that spry, bright-eyed elderly man at the Indian coffee house.
The one who points him towards Pi.
That's the one. It solidifies this whole idea. This is a narrative passed down, filtered through memory, through trauma, through individual perspective. It's a story that has already been shaped, making you question its very nature before Pi even really starts talking.
And what an introduction we get to Pi. Pi Patel, now living this seemingly quiet life in Scarborough, Canada.
It's quiet, yeah.
But his past is clearly etched all over him, physically and, internally. The narrative hints at profound suffering.
Oh, definitely.
We hear about him being anemic, having swollen legs, that dramatic fainting spell just from hearing a tap turn on.
Wow. Yeah.
And his instinctive act of eating with his fingers at an Indian restaurant in Canada, which leads to a waiter making a rather cutting remark.
Ouch. Little moments that speak volumes.
He describes his life as a memento mori painting. A chilling reminder of death, right? With a grinning skull reminding him of the folly of human ambition.
Stark image.
Yet, in defiance, he asserts, I don't believe in death. Move on. It's this powerful picture of a man still haunted, definitely haunted, yet profoundly resilient.
In Pi's childhood, especially his relationship with water and the sheer discomfort of his given name, piscine. These are truly formative experiences. They laid a groundwork for his later resilience.
He was named after a swimming pool.
Yeah, the Piscine Molitor, a magnificent Parisian swimming pool, apparently a place of almost divine beauty and clarity, cherished by his swimming guru, Francis Adarubasami.
Who he called Mamaji.
Exactly, Mamaji, a champion swimmer himself. He instilled this deep love for water in young Pi, a love that would, ironically, well, later save his life.
But the name itself was a problem.
A huge problem. Piscine became a source of relentless childhood torment, constantly mispronounced by his peers as pissing.
Oh, kids can be cruel.
They really can. So his decision to actively rename himself Pi Pi, short for 3.14, that, elusive, irrational number.
The one scientists use to try and understand the universe.
Right. It's an incredibly early and powerful act of self-definition, of resilience.
A symbolic coming of age, almost.
Absolutely. It demonstrates his innate ability to take control of his identity and transform adversity, a source of ridicule, into something unique, meaningful, enduring, something that provided refuge. This early mastery over his own name, it really prefigures his later mastery over his environment and even his own psychological state during the whole ordeal at sea.
That's a profoundly powerful early lesson in adapting and, well, self-determination, isn't it?
It really is.
So from his name, we move pretty seamlessly to his family's rather unique livelihood, running the Pondicherry Zoo.
Yeah, not your average upbringing.
Pi describes it as modern, biologically sound. And the narrative immediately dives into this fascinating critique of common misconceptions about animals.
Mm-hmm.
He directly challenges that popular but often naive idea that well-meaning but misinformed people think animals in the wild are happy because they are free.
Yeah, that's a big one. He argues the reality of the wild is constant struggle, right?
Yeah.
A relentless compulsion and necessity within an unforgiving social hierarchy where fear is high and food is low.
Not exactly a paradise.
Not at all. And this section is absolutely vital for understanding Pi's later interactions with Richard Parker and, frankly, his very survival. Well, Pi's expert insights reveal that animals are inherently conservative. They don't seek abstract freedom, they seek familiar territory for safety, reliable food, predictable routines.
So stability over freedom.
Pretty much. A biologically sound zoo enclosure, in this view, simply provides a compressed territory where these fundamental needs are met consistently and safely.
He makes a comparison to a house, right?
He does, a compelling one. He argues that a house is a compressed territory where our basic needs can be fulfilled close by and safely. And a sound zoo enclosure is the equivalent for an animal.
Okay, that makes sense.
He even gives examples of zoo animals, like a chimp and a deer, that could escape but actually chose to return.
Really?
Yeah, showing that the familiar, safe territory of the zoo was preferable to the, terrifying unknown.
So this deep understanding prepares us.
Exactly. It prepares us for the radical idea that animals, even dangerous predators, can adapt to confined spaces, form unexpected relationships. And crucially, it highlights how humans frequently misinterpret animal behavior by projecting our own complex emotions onto them.
The thing his father called animalist.
Animalist anthropomorphicus, the animal-human-shaped tendency. His father warned it was the most dangerous thing for any zookeeper, projecting human feelings onto wild animals.
And speaking of that, the zoo itself had that subtle critique, didn't it? The most dangerous animal exhibit.
Ah, yes, the mirror, reflecting the visitor's own face back at them. Brilliant.
Very clever. And then there's that unforgettable, truly shocking lesson Father gives Pi and his brother Ravi.
Oh, the tiger incident.
Mahisha, demonstrating the raw, undeniable power and danger of a Bengal tiger by starving Mahisha for 3 days.
Brutal.
And then, right in front of his sons, feeding him a live goat. It's incredibly visceral, almost hard to read.
It absolutely is. It's a visceral, unvarnished moment, designed to teach Pi and us, the listeners, a profound respect for the inherent danger of wild animals.
And the difference between human sentimentality and animal reality.
Precisely. Pi's father, a pragmatist to his core, underscores that every animal, even those seemingly harmless ostrich, the pretty deer, the camel, the black swans, all of them, is ferocious and dangerous and will certainly injure you if you treat them with naive affection, like they're just furry people. His logic is cold, but, well, undeniable. Better a goat than him, meaning Pi.
Harsh lesson.
Incredibly harsh, about baptism by fire, really. But it grounds Pi in the brutal, instinctual realities of the animal kingdom. It prepares him to face what's coming. It teaches him that fear and respect are essential tools for survival, not empathy, not projecting feelings.
It teaches him to see Richard Parker
Yeah.
later, not as like a pet, but as this force of nature that has to be understood and managed.
Exactly. That lesson, as brutal as it was probably life-saving in the end.
Okay, so from the physical realities and those brutal lessons of the zoo, we now shift. We move to the expansive, sometimes bewildering spiritual landscape of Pi's youth.
Yeah, it's a fascinating shift.
His spiritual journey is truly unique, almost audacious, you could say. At a remarkably young age, he embraces not just Hinduism, the faith he was born into,
Right, the default.
but also Christianity
Yeah,
and Islam,
all three, simultaneously.
which, as you can imagine, causes quite a bit of confusion for his, nominally secular parents and the local religious leaders.
Big pet.
Yet Pi simply states his driving motivation with this profound simplicity: I just want to love God.
And that declaration, it's a core theme, isn't it? It resonates through the entire narrative. Faith and belief systems, not as these rigid dogmas, but as paths. Paths to understanding the divine, finding meaning.
So it's not about choosing the one correct path for him.
Not at all. His approach is about embracing multiple perspectives, seeking a fuller, richer understanding of the divine that kind of transcends doctrinal boundaries.
Unlike his family.
Right. His family, though nominally Hindu, is largely secular. His father sees religion as good for business, having animals blessed small shrines at the zoo.
Practical reasons.
Exactly, rather than for personal salvation. His mother is described as serenely impious, her Hindu upbringing and Baptist education seemingly canceling each other out into this comfortable agnosticism.
And his brother?
Ravi. Oh, he's only interested in cricket, not Christ or Krishna.
So Pi's spiritual quest is really intensely personal.
Very much so. It highlights this profound, innate need for connection driven by genuine curiosity and an earnest desire for divine love. A quest that really sets him apart from his family's kind of practical indifference.
It's like a yearning, isn't it? A thirst for something more.
Exactly. And that thirst will prove vital when everything else is stripped away.
His childhood is certainly steeped in Hinduism. You get that sense of richness, vibrant stories, ancient rituals, the whole pantheon of gods like Ganesha, Lakshmi, Krishna.
It's a very immersive world.
Yeah. Then he encounters Christianity in Munnar, that hill station in Kerala. And initially he finds the church billing itself a bit off-putting, like a fortress.
Yeah, stark and uninviting compared to the vibrancy he's used to.
And he struggles deeply with the central concept, a God who suffers and dies for humanity's sins. He sees it as downright weird.
Lacking the shine and power, he says. The heroic exploits of the Hindu deities he knows.
He even asks the priest, Father Martin, for another story, something grander.
And gets told with unwavering conviction that Christianity has one story, the story they always return to.
That contrast is stark, isn't it? Between Hinduism's multiplicity, its philosophical depth, its sort of placid nature like the Ganges River he mentions,
Yeah.
and Christianity's singular, focused story. It's a point of initial resistance for Pi.
Definitely. He questions the human scale God, the one who is sweaty, chatty, and dies on a cross. He sees it as humiliation.
He can get God's facing adversity, battles maybe, but not such a vulnerable, painful death.
Right. Yet Father Martin's simple, persistent answer to all of Pi's logical, philosophical questions.
Just love.
Just love. It slowly, surely chips away at Pi's skepticism. It reveals the subtle, pervasive, and ultimately persuasive power of a message rooted in compassion, in unconditional love, even for someone who initially finds it illogical or, lacking in grandeur.
He makes that keen observation, too, that Christianity is a religion in a rush.
Urgent as an ambulance, he calls it. A powerful contrast to the more meditative, timeless feel of Hinduism. He perceives its urgency for salvation, for quick resolution, where in a moment you are lost or saved.
But despite his initial disbelief, annoyance even, at its apparent simplicity,
The figure of Christ becomes this unshakable, profound presence in his mind. It sticks with him.
and his spiritual exploration doesn't stop there. It keeps expanding. It continues with Islam.
Right, another path.
Initially, he views this faith with a similar skepticism, much like Christianity. He notes its reputation among some for fewer gods, greater violence.
Right.
But his encounter with Mr. Satish Kumar, the Sufi baker, transforms his perception entirely.
Oh, the baker. Yeah.
He's drawn to its beauty, its sense of brotherhood and devotion, especially the Sufi mystic's profound focus on union with God or fauna. That pursuit of mystical intimacy really resonates with him.
And the fact that both his beloved biology teacher, an ardent communist, a devotee of science, and the Sufi baker share the identical name, Mr. Satish Kumar.
That can't be just a coincidence.
Right. It feels profoundly symbolic. It beautifully bridges the seemingly disparate worlds of reason, science and faith, religion.
Suggesting they aren't mutually exclusive paths.
Exactly. Maybe they're different lenses through which to perceive a singular ultimate truth.
And the description of Muslim prayer, quick, necessary, physical, muttered, striking, that resonates with Pi's practical sensory nature too, doesn't it?
It does. It offers a contrast to the more contemplative stillness he found in Christian prayer. These diverse experiences, they culminate in his profound realization of God's tangible presence. An intellect confounded, yet a trusting sense of presence and of ultimate purpose, he says.
He describes feeling heavy with glory after leaving the bakery.
And later, much later in Canada, that powerful vision of spiritual unity, where he feels Atman, the Hindu universal self, met Allah, the Muslim God, in this sun-splashed clearing of falling snow.
Even seeing a vision of the Virgin Mary.
Right. Beyond vision, he calls it. These moments really underscore his capacity to transcend dogma, to find a universal spiritual truth that works for him.
It all comes to this rather memorable and somewhat comical head in that scene where the priest, the pandit, and the imam confront each other.
Oh, yes, the showdown on the esplanade.
Each religious leader, convinced of their own exclusive truth, insists Pi belongs solely to their faith.
And their arguments are quite revealing, aren't they? Of deep-seated prejudices, narrow interpretations.
They're hurling accusations back and forth. Idolaters, many wives, no miracles.
Versus the essential miracle of existence? Yeah, it gets heated.
But this humorous yet poignant encounter, it perfectly highlights the limitations of rigid dogma, of sectarianism.
Compared to Pi's expansive, open, and fundamentally inclusive spiritual hunger.
Right. While the religious men are squabbling over, spiritual territory.
Pi, with characteristic simplicity and profundity, quotes Mahatma Gandhi. Bapu Gandhi said, "All religions are true. I just want to love God."
He genuinely sees no reason why he can't be all three. He makes that practical comparison to his Mamaji having two passports, Indian and French.
It's brilliant. And it's not intellectual fence-sitting, is it? It's a powerful statement about transcending these artificial divisions to find a deeper, unifying truth.
And this inclusive approach to faith, it's not just a philosophical stance for him.
No, it powerfully foreshadows his need for a flexible, adaptable, deeply personal faith to survive the ordeal that's coming.
So his belief system, rather than being strict adherence to one dogma,
becomes this rich, resilient tapestry of understanding. It provides him with solace, with meaning, psychological strength throughout his life, and as we'll see, it becomes an absolutely essential tool for survival.
The stage is set then. Pi's rich spiritual life, his intellectual curiosity, his unique upbringing. But then, almost without warning, his world just collapses.
Yeah, the ground shifts completely.
The family's decision to immigrate to Canada in 1977, it's driven by India's intense political turmoil under Mrs. Gandhi's emergency.
Which his father viewed as a dictatorial takeover.
Right, and just a sense that the future is blocked up in India for them.
A very real fear for many at that time.
So they're forced to dismantle their entire lives, sell the beloved zoo animals.
Heartbreaking, I imagine.
Including an authentic Brahmin cow for a children's zoo in Canada. And they embark on this Japanese cargo ship, the Tsimtsum, bound for a new life.
And this forced migration, it serves as this poignant, almost biblical backdrop, doesn't it? It demonstrates in stark terms how these macro-level political social forces can just drastically alter individual lives, uproot entire families' livelihoods.
The dismantling of their zoo, that symbol of order, of controlled nature.
It chillingly foreshadows the utter chaos, the uncontrolled wilderness that's about to come. It's literally tearing down Pi's entire known world.
And the animals, with their ironic working papers.
Yeah, that detail. Shipped to a new country, a new life, linking their fate inextricably to the families. They're all migrants seeking new shores.
The journey itself, being on a ship, which was initially thrilling for Pi, full of new experiences,
becomes the ultimate test of survival. A literal journey from the known into the terrifying unknown.
He vividly recounts waving wildly goodbye to India, filled with this innocent excitement.
Utterly unaware of the unimaginable catastrophe lurking just ahead, just beneath the waves.
And the catastrophe strikes with brutal, sickening swiftness. The ship sinks, suddenly, violently, with a sound Pi describes as a monstrous metallic burp.
What a description, the sound of the ocean swallowing something vast.
Pi, caught in the immediate terror of this moment, doesn't choose one god, does he? He cries out to all his deities.
Vishnu, preserve me. Allah, protect me. Christ, save me. I can't bear it.
He describes feeling an intense pain, such a ripping of the nerve, such an ache of the heart, as the Tsimtsum goes down.
And this moment of intense pain, ripping nerves, it truly highlights the fragility of life, the sudden, overwhelming onset of trauma.
His multi-faith appeals in sheer panic.
They demonstrate the depth and breadth of his spiritual practice, don't they? He's literally calling on every aspect of his cultivated faith in his most desperate hour. It's a visceral testament to his genuine love for God across all forms.
And the sinking itself remains mysterious throughout the novel, never fully explained.
Right. A stark reminder of life's inherent unpredictability, the sudden, overwhelming nature of disaster. This lack of clear explanation emphasizes that sometimes, in the face of profound tragedy, the why is less important than the immediate, terrifying what, and the desperate need to survive.
It just plunges him and us into this reality stripped bare of logic or reason.
Absolutely. Chaos takes over.
Miraculously, though, Pi finds himself in a lifeboat.
Against all odds.
But not alone. He's adrift with this horrifying menagerie. A zebra with a broken leg.
Ghastly image.
A frenzied hyena, an orangutan named Orange Juice.
Who seems almost serene at first.
And, incredibly, Richard Parker, the Bengal tiger.
And we learn Richard Parker's name is itself a mistake, right? A clerical error from the hunter who captured him.
Yeah, the hunter was Richard Parker, the cub was named Thirsty, and the clerk just swapped them on the forms. Bizarre.
It adds another layer of absurdity to the whole situation.
Yeah.
But this bizarre mix of companions, it sets up the central, most shocking, and brutally symbolic part of the story.
Pi quickly figures out the grim truth, doesn't he? A horrific realization about human cruelty.
Yeah, he deduces that the Taiwanese sailors, seeing the hyena already in the lifeboat, likely threw him in.
As bait, as fodder.
Exactly. As fodder for the hyena, hoping Pi would deal with it or be dealt with by it, making the boat safe for them. Horrifying.
And what unfolds next is just raw survival of the fittest. It shatters any romantic notions of nature.
Completely. We witness the hyena tearing apart the zebra alive, pulling out its intestines in this prolonged, agonizing scene.
Awful.
Then, in an even more horrific act, it brutally kills Orange Juice, decapitates her.
And Orange Juice's final pose.
Yep.
Like a Simeon Christ on the cross.
It's such a powerful, disturbing image, connecting the sacred to the savagery, highlighting innocent suffering in its most primal form. Pi watches, just dumb with pain and horror.
Realizing with absolute certainty that he is next on the hyena's menu.
It's a rapid, brutal descent into a world where only instinct matters, pure terror.
And then the ultimate terror strikes.
Yeah.
A revelation that dwarfs even the hyena's savagery.
The tiger.
Pi realizes Richard Parker is indeed in the boat, directly beneath the tarpaulin. A 3-year-old adult Bengal tiger whose head was the size and color of the life buoy with teeth.
He describes that revelation as solid, true, a horrifying, undeniable fact hitting him.
And this revelation is the turning point, isn't it? The true moment of abject terror for Pi. It shifts the stakes from a desperate fight with a hyena
to a seemingly impossible coexistence with the absolute king of predators.
His initial logical plan, kill the tiger, just evaporates.
Instantly, it gives way to a more desperate, almost existential realization. He faces this terrifying choice, certain death in the shark-infested water, or equally terrifying coexistence with a deadly predator in a tiny, confined space.
It forces him to a radical conclusion. He has to tame the tiger.
As he puts it, it was not a question of him or me, but of him and me.
Which is where his zoo knowledge comes in.
Exactly. His deep understanding of animal behavior, gained from growing up in the zoo, understanding that animalis anthropomorphicus fallacy, it becomes his only hope.
His determination sets in with almost a spiritual fervor.
It does. He says, I will not die. I refuse it. I will make it through this nightmare. I will beat the odds. Now I will turn miracle into routine. The amazing will be seen every day. Yes, so long as God is with me, I will not die. Amen.
Wow. That's not just a will to live. That's the fiercest, most defiant assertion of agency and faith we see from him.
It transforms him right there. From a victim to a determined survivor, he has to make this work.
So Pi endures unimaginable physical suffering out there. battling the relentless elements.
Day after day.
He faces excruciating thirst, agonizing hunger, and eventually even temporary blindness from the sun and salt.
It's just brutal conditions.
Yet amidst all this, his ingenuity just shines through, doesn't it?
Right.
He discovers the lifeboat's meager supplies, a few water cans, emergency rations.
Which he almost comically refers to as amazingly good Norwegian cuisine. A bit of dark humor, maybe.
Maybe. He famously describes being drunk on water as a noble and ecstatic experience. Feeling strength and suppleness came back to my muscles with each life-giving drop.
That desperation for fresh water, it's palpable. And this section powerfully highlights his incredible resourcefulness, that primal human drive, demonstrating how necessity is the mother of invention in the absolute most extreme circumstances.
He doesn't just drink the water, he figures out how to make more.
Right. He devises ingenious solar stills, transforming salt-free seawater into fresh water. He calls them his sweet sea cow, treating them like precious sources of delicious milk.
Amazing. And he learns to fish with primitive tools.
Yeah, catching turtles, dorados, meticulously preparing them. He even eats crabs growing on the underside of his raft, adapting to whatever sustenance the ocean provides, even if it tastes, unpalatably bitter or salty.
You see his body adapting too, developing that revulsion for salt, battling severe constipation.
And in a truly grim testament to his hunger, that desperate search for any nutrients, he even attempts and thankfully fails to eat Richard Parker's feces.
Ugh, just shows the absolute depth of his desperation.
It does. And his account of the harrowing ballet of circles, that constant, exhausting swing between boredom and terror, vividly describes the psychological torment, a pendulum swing of emotions pushing him to the very brink.
Yet, amidst this despair, moments of profound beauty and wonder somehow manage to emerge.
Which is incredible, isn't it?
We hear about the terrifying storms, the ocean becoming mountains and valleys, a truly cosmic scale of torment. He describes feeling this constant terror of death by water or death by animal.
Always caught between those two fears.
Yet amidst this relentless brutality, moments of profound beauty emerge, like the lightning strikes that illuminate the whole ocean, transforming into an outbreak of divinity.
He describes that close encounter with electrocution and third-degree burns as one of the few times during the ordeal when he felt genuine happiness.
It's an astonishing capacity to find beauty, even wonder, in the middle of horror.
It reveals the extraordinary resilience of the human spirit, doesn't it? The power of perception, even when faced with unbearable suffering. His ability to find genuine happiness and exalted wonder in such extreme conditions points to this deep spiritual wellspring that transcends his physical pain.
His prayer, "Praise be to Allah, Lord of all worlds," it shows his multifaceted faith is still sustaining him.
Absolutely. It allows him to perceive the divine even in the chaos of a storm. He notes that his suffering was taking place in a grand setting, which paradoxically made it feel finite and insignificant, allowing him moments of stillness and peace.
It's not just survival, it's a form of spiritual transcendence almost.
It is, however, he also descends to these incredibly primal acts of survival.
Like using the injured bird, the booby, as bait.
Yes, and meticulously eating its heart, liver, lungs, eyes, brain, showcasing his horrifying transformation into a primal survivor. He laments, "I descended to a level of savagery I never imagined possible."
So that duality is key. Spiritual transcendence and savage primal acts, side by side.
Crucial to understanding his whole journey. He contains both.
But his ultimate survival hinges not just on resourcefulness or faith, but on that revolutionary, almost insane idea. It was not a question of him or me, but of him and me.
Right, that shift.
This realization leads to plan number 7, keep him alive. His most daring, most dangerous strategy. He leverages his profound zoo knowledge to tame the tiger, meticulously building what he calls Pi Patel, Indo-Canadian, Trans-Pacific floating circus.
And this is truly where Pi's deep understanding of animal psychology and his father's harsh lessons from the zoo really shine through. It transforms the death sentence into this desperate, managed coexistence.
He uses the whistle to associate nausea with his presence.
Yeah, that seasickness training method, making Richard Parker associate Pi's presence with extreme discomfort, with vomiting. It's clever, if brutal.
And he positions himself as the super alpha male.
By establishing the lifeboat as his territory, not Richard Parker's, he achieves this through bold, deliberate actions. Shouting, making loud noises, snapping a whip he made from a fishing net.
Mimicking a circus trainer.
Exactly. He even uses Richard Parker's waste, or rather the lack of it, to his advantage. The tiger hiding his feces is a clear sign of deference in the animal kingdom. a demonstration of Pi's dominance and the tiger's submission.
And that dramatic incident with the special Dorado.
Ah, yes. Richard Parker is poised to attack Pi for the fresh fish, but then Pi blows the whistle.
And the tiger licked his nose, groaned, and turned away.
That clearly establishes Pi's mastery. This isn't just taming, it's a revolutionary transformation of Richard Parker from direct existential predator to this manageable, albeit still incredibly dangerous companion.
Pi becomes the source of food and water, granting him power over the tiger.
And this agency was pure and miraculous, he says. He realizes that in such extreme circumstances, you can get used to anything. Even sharing a lifeboat with a Bengal tiger, a testament to human adaptability.
Amidst this brutal struggle, though, comes that truly bizarre discovery, the floating algae island.
Oh, the island. Yeah, that's a strange turn.
It seems like a paradise at first, right? Freshwater ponds, countless meerkats that appear miraculously fearless at Richard Parker.
Even bringing freshly dead fish ashore for them.
For a precious few days, Pi and Richard Parker find respite. A seemingly miraculous escape from the relentless, maddening solitude of the ocean.
But the meerkats' behavior is just eerie, anomalous. Their collective turning away from Pi, their inexplicable source of freshly dead saltwater fish in freshwater ponds.
And their unnerving mass migration into the trees every single night.
It all hints at a deeper, more sinister truth about this island. Pi's growing unease, despite the immediate relief of finding land, pushes him to investigate.
And he eventually discovers the horrific secret beneath the surface beauty.
The island is carnivorous, the algae itself. The freshwater ponds turn acidic at night, dissolving all living things, including the fish the meerkats then bring ashore.
So this paradise isn't salvation. It's a slow, insidious trap.
Exactly. A place where, if he had stayed, his own flesh would eventually have been dissolved by the island itself. The horrifying discovery of human teeth embedded within the algae confirms his worst fears.
It's an island of death.
A place that literally devours those who seek solace in its false hope. It challenges the very notion of a benevolent nature, highlights how appearances can be utterly deceiving.
Forcing Pi to make a horrific but life-saving choice to leave the only land he's found in months.
It truly tests Pi's hard-won discernment, doesn't it? It showcases his evolution from being a passive victim of circumstance to being an active agent in his own survival, making that critical decision to avoid a slow, horrifying demise on what looked like paradise.
Okay, so after 227 harrowing days at sea, Pi washes ashore in Mexico, emaciated, sunblind, utterly depleted.
Barely alive.
2 Japanese investigators arrive, Mr. Okamoto and Mr. Chiba, from the Maritime Department in the Japanese Ministry of Transport. They are there to understand why the Tsimtsum sank.
Standard procedure, trying to piece together the facts of the shipwreck.
But they are highly skeptical of Pi's story. The one with the animals. They find it botanically impossible, utterly unbelievable.
Lacking any concrete proof that would satisfy their empirical mandate, their very official investigation.
And this is the core philosophical moment of the novel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where all the preceding themes just converge.
Absolutely. The investigators represent that Western empirical worldview, demanding words that reflect reality, demanding facts, a narrative that does not contradict reality.
They want dry, yeastless factuality, as Pi puts it. A flat story. An immobile story.
Which is such a profound contrast to Pi's own lived, albeit unbelievable, experience. And Pi challenges this rigid perspective.
He suggests that just looking upon this world is already something of an invention.
Yeah, he argues quite passionately that the world isn't just the way it is. It is how we understand it, no. And in understanding something, we bring something to it, no? Doesn't that make life a story?
Which sets up the central, most profound question of the novel, for the characters and for you, the listener.
What truly constitutes truth? Especially in the face of unimaginable trauma, unspeakable horror. It's this direct confrontation between objective reality, or what we think is objective, and subjective experience.
Faced with their relentless disbelief, their demand for a more believable account, Pi offers a second story.
The alternative narrative.
A brutal human account of survival that strips away any semblance of magical realism or animal allegory.
And it's horrific.
In this harrowing version, the ship's cook, who parallels the hyena, is this monstrous, brute, ill-tempered figure. The injured Taiwanese sailor, the zebra parallel, has his leg brutally amputated for fish bait and later dies of gangrene.
Just awful.
Pi's own mother, paralleling the gentle orangutaness, fiercely defends Pi before being brutally murdered, decapitated by the cook.
Unspeakable.
And Pi himself, paralleling the tiger killing the hyena, driven by madness, starvation, a horrifying need to survive.
He admits it.
He eats small pieces of the cook's flesh before finally killing him with a knife.
The shocking, almost sickening parallels between the two narratives are undeniable, and Mr. Okamoto lays them out meticulously. His stories match.
The investigators explicitly connect the animal characters to their human counterparts. Zebra equals sailor, orangutan equals mother, hyena equals cook.
And most disturbingly, the tiger, Richard Parker, equals Pi himself.
This raises the harrowing possibility, doesn't it, that the animal story is this deeply layered metaphor, an elaborate allegory that allows Pi to process, to articulate, the unspeakable horrors he witnessed.
And more terrifyingly, perhaps participated in. It forces you to confront the profound moral ambiguity of survival situations, the dark, primal side of human nature pushed to its absolute limits.
Pi admits with chilling honesty, something in me died then that has never come back to life.
And he explains that he ate some of his flesh, but only small pieces, that when dried by the sun looked like ordinary animal flesh, a detail that just underscores his descent into necessary savagery.
This second story is the raw, unvarnished truth of human depravity, and it's a really difficult truth to confront.
Extremely difficult.
Pi then poses the ultimate existential question to the two bewildered investigators.
The choice.
Which story do you prefer? The one with the animals or the one without?
And after a moment of profound reflection, with Mr. Chiba maybe nodding quicker, Mr. Okamoto chooses.
He chooses the story with animals, unequivocally calling it the better story.
And this moment is the true heart of the novel's philosophical inquiry. Why is the animal story the better story?
Why is it?
Because it offers a way to cope, a way to deal with unspeakable trauma, to find meaning, even a strange form of hope, in a horrific, unvarnished experience.
So the tiger, Richard Parker, represents Pi's own primal survival instincts.
That's one powerful interpretation. The dangerous, animalistic, perhaps even monstrous part of himself that enabled him to endure such unimaginable conditions.
So when Richard Parker disappears at the end, walking off into the Mexican jungle without even a backward glance,
it symbolizes the reintegration, or maybe the suppression, of that savage self once land is reached. Once the immediate threat is gone and human civilization can sort of reassert its order.
The animal story allows Pi to endure, to narrate his survival, without directly confronting the full psychological weight of the human brutality.
Exactly. This choice echoes Pi's earlier conviction, and so it goes with God. It implies that belief, whether in a divine power or a compelling narrative, can offer salvation, solace, meaning, even if it's not that dry, yeastless factuality the investigators initially demanded.
The very act of telling the animal story is an act of profound creation, transformation.
Yes, it makes his survival not just bearable, but meaningful. It allows him to live with the impossible truth.
And Richard Parker's final disappearance is left unresolved. It's a moment of deep ambiguity that really haunts you long after the book is closed.
It does.
As the investigators question where the tiger went, Pi simply assures them, "Don't worry, you won't. He's hiding somewhere you'll never find him."
And this ambiguous ending leaves you, the listener, with this powerful, lingering question about the nature of truth, memory, the stories we construct for ourselves. Richard Parker is both literal and metaphorical.
He's the companion who, in a strange, terrifying way, saved Pi's life by forcing him to remain alert, focused, purposeful.
Right. But he is also the embodiment of the extreme measures Pi took to survive. The brutal, untamed aspects of his own nature that emerged under duress.
His unceremonious, unacknowledged departure, it reminds us that even profound relationships forged in crisis can end abruptly, without closure.
And more profoundly, it suggests that some aspects of extreme experience, especially the most horrifying parts, may remain hidden, even from oneself, buried deep in the subconscious, or maybe sublimated into a more palatable narrative.
Because the direct reality is simply too unbearable.
Perhaps. It challenges us to consider which truths we choose to carry, which we integrate, and which we allow to fade into the realm of story. What do we need to believe to continue living?
Wow. We've truly navigated the remarkable, often disturbing, and profoundly beautiful depths of Life of Pi.
It covers so much ground.
Pi Patel's journey is just an astonishing testament to the incredible resilience of the human spirit, the enduring, adaptable power of faith, and that incredibly complex, often intertwined relationship between truth, perception, and storytelling.
Absolutely. Ultimately, this deep dive into Life of Pi asks you, the listener, to confront not just Pi's choices, but how we interpret our own realities, especially when facing life's inevitable storms or unimaginable traumas.
Is it the stark, unvarnished facts?
Or is it the narrative we choose to believe? The one that offers hope, meaning a path forward. Is that what truly defines our experience and allows us to find solace and purpose?
It leaves us with a truly provocative thought, doesn't it? If truth itself can be shaped by belief and imagination, if a story can genuinely be better than a harsh reality.
Then what better story are you telling about your own life's challenges, your own moments of struggle, or maybe your own triumphs?
And how does that narrative, that powerful act of self-creation, empower you to navigate the unexpected waves and profound uncertainties ahead?
Something to really chew on.